Okay, you are live. Good. Okay, you are live. Good luck.
We are live? Okay.
Yep.
Go back to the
Yo,
menu.
yo. Hey, I did a run a couple days ago. And then this guy's about to do a run for you now.
Yes.
My name is Ghost King.
Yeah, and I'm Shauny7188. We like memes. I guess we can start. This is the right screen, right? Yeah, okay. I swear I know how to run this game.
Just make sure you unplug your memory card.
Actually, that's a good point, did I? Yeah. Alright, cool. So, I guess on the countdown, on go. 3, 2, 1, go. And now the mashing begins.
Good luck, Shauny.
Yeah, thank you. So
We're
this
all
is,
counting on you.
yeah, if this somehow goes wrong, oh, so sorry, you will hear the GameCube control click. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
the way I mash and the way I sit, it tends to be closer to the microphone than normal. So, just think of it as white noise. This is Custom Robo, a game about how you are destined to save the world by your father banning you and giving you a watch. That's basically all the story you need to know for the day one, and you need to get a job.
Yeah. Basically, your dad dies years before the events of the game,
Actually,
and
weeks.
you need to get a job. Well, your dad abandons you at weeks or years before the game begins, and then dies a couple weeks earlier, and he says, "Son, I want you to become a robo battler."
Yeah, even though you have no idea what a custom robo is, you've been somehow isolated from that, even though it's like the Yu-Gi-Oh universe and everyone has it.
Yeah, so think of Custom Robo as a Pokemon game, partly because it was made by Nintendo, well, produced, and partly because basically the way everything in this world works is everyone operates just about everything via robo battles. It's how the police solve crimes, it's how people settle family disputes. Pretty much everything is done with robo battles instead of, talking it out or guns or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. And also the police force in this world is laughably bad.
Pretty much.
It's more Metabots than the Metabots games, actually. Except, actually no, you do get parts after winning, so yeah.
Yeah, so this is Custom Robo for the Nintendo GameCube. The Japanese title is Custom Robo Battle Revolution, so that's the one that we use to distinguish it from the Japanese N64 exclusive Custom Robo.
Yeah, the dialogue in this game is wonderful. So basically what happened is we went to a job interview without being prepared, told off, and then basically the boss, Ernest, who's the best character undoubtedly in this game, got a phone call and he got a job. So he's like, oh, just send the new guy, he'll get scared and run away.
Basically.
And anime will intervene and we shall be the chosen one and win every single battle from now on, or else the game fails.
Yeah. Also, everyone's doing a pelvic thrust while they're standing.
Yes, the character models look like basically what they based off of Gale of Darkness.
Yeah, we all want to say that the engine they use is the Pokemon Coliseum engine for this game, because the models look shockingly similar in some ways.
That hot lady is full of bees, so be careful.
Yes. They try to make her look attractive by giving like the leg up shot.
They also did it with evil as well.
Yeah, but because this is a GameCube game, it doesn't quite work. Alright, so these burglars here are actually at this lab to try and steal that blue RoboCube that just conveniently happened to be there. Harry knocks it over by mistake, and
What a useful thing he does.
Pick it up. Yeah, and we pick it up. And when I say by mistake, I mean we distract him during a fight. Alright, so the basic combat system of this game is we have a Robo, they have a Robo. We have 1000 HP, they have 1000 HP. Whoever gets 0 loses. As for what you have to damage your opponents, you have a few basic ability types. You have the gun, which is you just shoot, pew pew pew.
Mm-hmm.
There's bombs, which you chuck at an enemy.
They did
and then
shoot
there's
over
a
walls.
Yeah, then there's also a charge here. The charges you need to the Robo The gun is a specific type, so guns you can customize. Same with bombs. But your charge is its own separate deal. And so we start off on with a model called Ray-01. And Ray-01 has a really solid, just forward-moving charge that does a lot of damage. Charge works in such a way that it will immediately it'll immediately down your opponent and do a good amount of damage. So the way downing works is above an enemy's health bar, they have these three little, we refer to it as shields sometimes. We're not quite sure what exactly it's supposed to be. But the lower the shields, the less damage the enemy takes, and when an enemy is downed, they're free to be damaged for a few seconds at reduced damage. And then they will go into a rebirth in which they have several invulnerability frames. And that usually the AI will generally run away at this time, unless you are really close up to them.
Mm-hmm. Actually, to answer the question in the chat about the pods, I have been trying to incorporate pods into the run more and more. But the thing is, the pods tend to be not so much slower, but they tend to do bad effects against the Robo that we actually don't want. Like bounce them up in the sky or do whatever. But I've been trying to incorporate Speed Pod D as something we'll get on day 5 to basically do combos 40 extra damage, which doesn't seem like much, but prevents an entire cycle for damage.
Yeah, I was about to mention pods at the end. Like, there is also a pod, and unlike bombs, which you just straight up chuck at an enemy, a pod is sort of this like little moving kind of missile, and they don't do as much damage usually, but more importantly, they tend to have some negative knockback effects and just not be as easy to use.
I try to use it there, but...
So most people who play this game, both casually and competitively in many capacities, and when I say competitively, I mean like a very small net play community, most of the time pods just aren't really incorporated. There are a few neat things you can do with them, but
well, in Grand Battle, there's more use.
Yeah, there is some advanced little tech you can do in multiplayer games, like zoning, but the enemy AI in this game is so predictable that you generally stick to a specific mindset and strategy with combat.
Yeah. Oh, I should also explain the cube launchers, actually.
Yeah, well,
because basically, at the start of every battle, I've been launching this little cube out, and that's where the custom Robo is. This arena is somehow 4 meters squared, cannon, for whatever reason. And basically, the cube launcher has a number that starts on it, and it changes suddenly. That's actually a decent battle. Oh, so what's my time on the final hit on him?
Let's see. Your time on the final hit for Metal Bear was 7:21. Like I 7:21.
Okay. I don't have a timer up, and I don't have the stream up to see the timer, so I don't know what my pace is. I'm technically on a plus 20-second pace. So your file name, if you haven't already been told, is the word "we" in all caps with an exclamation mark at the end of it. Yes.
So W-E-E-E-E-E. You're welcome.
Yeah, and then exclamation point, and then all caps. Okay. I take my hand.
I'm sorry,
off the start button.
I can't leave Chicken Heart as the name, dude. You know me.
So
you know. At least I didn't name him the forbidden word.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be. There you go. So we is the greatest row battler without realizing it in the game. Because everyone else is incompetent.
Yeah.
So somehow, because of Linda being impressed with us, she's gonna give Ernest a call, and we're gonna get a job. And now, this game's favorite thing to do is we are actually going to talk to every single person in the room before leaving or progressing.
Yeah. So, in one of the cutscenes, our character did a eye scan with the Robo cube, and in this game, if you do an eye scan with the cube, you are now locked into the Robo. Nobody can use it but you. So we're like, so Linda just kind of says, you can keep it because at this point we can't really do anything about it. And you seem intriguing enough as a test subject for it.
Okay, the Wii is actually getting me. It's actually making me smile. The other name I tend to name him if I am just spamming it is just straight A's. So everyone has an existential crisis when they're talking to you. So yeah. So basically, I just did a skip there. We'll call it not go home. At the end of every what we call day, there's 12 days in the game. Day 12 is its own thing. We'll explain that very. Basically, you always have a choice to wander, which is this kind of you can talk to people, figure things out, explore the world, and there's a lot of stuff going on in the background that you can check out. According to my notes, I have to go to Steel Hearts today.
Shauny.
I know. I don't care. So, basically, if you choose to go home, you waste about 30 seconds on the best of times and way longer on some of the worst. So now we're going to go train, because it's our first day and we only just picked up a custom, or a Robo, I guess, not a custom Robo. And we hopefully will, you know, be okay at this. And,
yeah. The next fight is one of about like 20 fights that can end your run.
Out of 60 fights, yes. I recounted, we only have 60 for some reason.
Not gone and Shauny, we've been telling people the wrong information for years.
So, alright, so Harry is a jerk. This is actually where there's the first difficulty curve of the game. And for whatever reason, he's well prepared to take you on. And I don't agree with their choices for someone.
So Harry comes equipped with a Gatling gun and a standard bomb S. Gatling gun shoots a bunch of bullets. If they happen to all connect with you, it downs you instantly.
Like so.
On this Robo, you just don't have the defense to deal with it. Standard was one of the most broken items in the game. In fact, we're actually going to get it and exploit the ever-loving crap out of it.
There you go.
And what it does is it leaves an enemy stunned for a solid like second and a half.
Yeah, and it doesn't down them, so it doesn't trigger the damage scaling in this game. So it's great. So now we're going to go to the parts generator. This is one of two trips. Actually, I can't explain what's going on with the image. Basically, I play on 16:9. Other members play 4:3. This is one of the very few GameCube games that had progressive scan mode and 16:9 programmed into it. And for whatever reason, it also has black borders around it for no reason. So it's going to be, the way I had to put it so it'd be easy for high spirits to crop and stuff like that. Like the black borders are just annoying, but they never go away. Get you down. There you go. Anyway, yes. So these little robos are extremely annoying. Everything in this game is going to be relatively similar for combos for the first part, and then definitely in the second part, if I can do it. But every single robo you verse in this game is random, unique, and sometimes just an absolute troll. Especially the robo after this next one. Everyone hates it.
So the starting combo was generally to shoot something, throw a bomb, and then before it gets downed, charge it. In this case, it's going to be a little bit different. Now that we have standard bomb S, we want to use it to stun enemies a lot more. And these enemies here, which are called, defenders?
No, Defender is a Lightning Sky.
Yeah, this is Shrike.
Yeah.
Or Peregrine.
No, it's not Peregrine.
There is Shrike and Peregrine. They look similar, and they're of this group called Little Raiders. Sometimes we'll refer to them by the model group, in which there's like three of each group. And these guys get down the moment you breathe on them. So, as you can see, any damage he does will knock him down instantly.
Yep.
So, three-way is kind of nice because it has a pretty wide area of effect.
Now actually the difficult battle of the day is happening.
Does this game cost a lot? No, it does not.
No,
on eBay it runs for somewhere around $25. It's been steadily climbing over the years, but that's just because, you know, limited supply and all that.
Yeah, but it's
But
not
it's
that
generally not that expensive.
Anyway, so basically that's his charge that is special to his Robo. It's quite annoying and it costs a lot of time. Whenever a Robo turns red like that, they have iframes. So you can see I have some iframes. I dashed into the ball perfectly there and get them. But basically the battle system of this game is basically, well, you win first, kind of. Okay, will you please die? Thank you, Buggy.
Yeah, these guys are annoying. They have these they have this little blink mid-air dash. Like, this particular one can jump up really high, and it's just annoying to deal with.
Yeah. And then, oddly enough, it's the same Robo here. It's horrible meshing there. Same Robo, different gun, completely different fight. For whatever reason, the yellow one is a really, really difficult one this day, and everyone hates it. It kills a lot of runs, because for whatever reason, it's just better overall. Alright, so... 1, 2... There you go. So, I've been trying to practice this game more and more offline recently, so I'm not used to commentating too much, so I'm sorry for that. But if you do have any questions about the game or anything, I probably can answer it, except if it's actually about part details, because actually I'm quite clueless when it comes to actually the game.
World record holder, ladies and gentlemen.
In every category, but I don't know the game. We actually can explain the categories right now, because all that's happening here is we're getting a call, we have to go deal with the job. So.
Yeah. Given that when the New Game Plus incentives was met, actually.
Yeah.
So the way this game works is after many, many fights in the story mode, and in the post game, you will pick up additional parts, and additional parts can be customized to your Robo. So far, we have customized the two most broken parts in the game, or two of the most broken parts that we can get. Standard Bomb S, which, as we mentioned, is if you hit an enemy with it, they're stunned in place for about 1.5 seconds. And Three-Way, which is a gun that shoots 3 rows of 3 bullets. What makes Three-Way really effective, actually, is the fact that if you shoot something point blank, it does a considerable amount of damage. Because all 9 bullets are hitting the enemy.
Instead of just 3, which is the meant amount, basically, for the Three-Way gun.
Yeah, it's meant to be more of a like widespread attack rather than a heavy damage dealing attack, but it has some fun little properties to it. Yeah, so you go around, you pick up a bunch of different parts. There are several really good parts that we don't use in the run that you will see enemies use. So it's just kind of the skill in this game comes down to knowing what to do, what each fight has, and how to deal with it.
Gatling gun. Gatling gun is one of the most annoying things in the entire speedrun, because until you, I am now officially done day 2. Once I go back and say go home. Day 3 is going to be a quick fight, day 4 is 2, then after that I get to use my favorite Robo. So as of right now I'm kind of rusty. And the launch is a bit like Beyblade.
Except it's not.
Cubes, tops.
Same difference.
Yeah.
Alright, so this is the part of the game where Hatsune Miku decides to join our party.
Yep.
Yeah, so the character design in this game is kind of special. So one of our coworkers is this woman by the name of Marcia, or Marcia.
Marcia.
Nobody can come to an agreement. And she's kind of like the ace of the company.
Yeah.
AKA she's way more competent than Harry here, who's kind of useless as an ally and as like a coworker. Yeah. But anyways, her character design resembles Miku, despite the fact that this game actually predates the existence of the original Miku by like 4 years.
It's kind of like what they're talking about in Lunar about the Dragon Tank and Chrono Trigger as well. staying on that same kind of topic. So, basically, what we did yesterday was legal. We weren't licensed. We have to get a license.
Yeah.
You
need a license to operate a Robo Battle.
And this is one of the jokes against me in the community, is I actually have paper notes in front of me, despite everyone's objections to them for some reason. And I have the test results on a game I've speedrun probably over 150 times. And I still don't know the answers without looking.
Middle, top, bottom, bottom.
Yeah, just
top.
for that, I just did 100. So there you
Middle,
go.
bottom. Middle, top, bottom, top, bottom, top, middle, bottom.
Yes. For some reason, I've never been able to memorize that, so I use paper notes. Yes, the parts burninator. There's also pork, I think, in there too. Department of Fish and Game. Some of the answers are great. Oh, yes, we should explain where you get those answers from. That should hit him in time. Oh, what? Buggy, no.
My personal favorite is the last question, which is just, what question is this? 10. Basically, this game doesn't take itself too seriously, except when it does. And when it does take itself too seriously, it takes itself way too seriously.
Shouts to Day
So
12.
it ends up just being a really comedic, goofy experience. The localization team had a lot of fun with this game.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, there is actually a collect all parts speedrun. It's just called all parts.
Yeah, because
It's
there's
sort of the 100% category.
there's one stage on that you can't get on the all parts run because you need to do 50 versus battles on the versus mode on this game to get is it Dark Star, I think?
Yeah.
So basically, because of that, we took that out. So it's just the parts, not the stage, because first thing a Robo 50 times takes a long time no matter what Robo it is.
I know you don't have it as an incentive, but are you going to show off the bad ending if the run's not, on like really good pace?
Well, depends.
It's like 30
It's
seconds.
not my marathon. No, it's 37. I counted that. To show it off would take a minute to actually showcase off the answers, but or Harry rambling. I keep wanting to split every single day. There's a dog.
Good old marathon habits. Stop. What do you mean, doggy? Are you picking up a dog barking from my mic?
Yeah.
Freaking neighbors. My neighbors have the yappiest dog. I don't know why my mic is so sensitive about these kinds of things.
Everyone start posting all the dog emotes you can. So basically on day 4 is we are now licensed and actually able to work. So we actually can't actually do this properly. Harry managed to get a date and then he lost a piece of paper.
Yeah, so Harry's character is he's kind of a womanizer. Spent all day hitting on the lobby attendant. And basically, she says, "Hey, you're kind of charming." And he's like, "Hey, I'm charming. Give me your number." Sure, why not?
That's close enough to the dog.
And being the smart woman that she was, she actually gave him his number, or her number. And Harry immediately proceeds to lose it by accidentally dropping it when leaving your house the previous night. And what ends up happening is the neighbors, which are a family of 4, the husband picks up the note, wondering what it's about, and puts it in his pocket. The wife, in doing his laundry the next day, finds a note with a phone number on it. She calls the number and hears the voice of a cute girl and thinks, "Oh my god, my husband's cheating on me."
Because Walt looks like a womanizer too.
So, like I mentioned, family disputes in this game are settled with Robo battles. So they're getting into a Robo battle and yelling at each other, which causes a bit of a ruckus. So our landlady decides to call our company and ask us to get these two to tone it down. So we are bounty hunting. We are bounty hunters, by the way. Essentially, what we do is you call us up and we will just do random jobs that the police won't do.
Yeah, because the police is incompetent, but at the same time, they're stretched too thin.
Mm-hmm.
So, how did I get hit there? I'll call that into question. I had iframes there. But saying I didn't bounce away. So basically what I'm trying to do with the Rayo one, because this is going to be the final battle I use this Robo, thankfully. I'm not actually good with it. There's a huge difference between, hey, Wee, come here. I love it. So basically, I've been trying to do a certain glitch, we'll call or exploit, or I don't know what you want to call it, but basically if you shoot the bomb and damage them and charge on the same frame, it doesn't down them. I've done it twice so far in the run. It's really hard to point out initially because I don't know when I did it until after. But basically it messes up the damage scaling and then everything from there can... or green then. This is unfortunately what the GameCube game added to this series is double battles. And this makes the speedrun very annoying.
Yeah, double battles are a lot of fun casually and then, you know, in multiplayer environments. But the problem with double battles is there's a lot going on. There's a lot more randomness as well, meaning enemies are a little harder to keep track of. Enemies have a chance to switch to target you, and you can't really do much about it. And you pretty much want to make sure that you focus down a specific enemy first, because 2 against 1 is easier to deal with than 1-on-1.
Yeah, and also your partner's absolute trash.
Yeah. Out of all of the 2v2 fights in this game, you have a competent ally in maybe 2 of them. Most of the time, they just love to run behind walls and just shoot and throw bombs. And the worst part about double battles is pods can affect you. They don't damage you, but they can, you know, knock you away. And bombs can, in fact, damage you. So there is team killing in 2v2 fights.
So, basically, we stopped the dispute. We're superheroes now. Also, that little girl in pink is the smartest character in the game. I posted some screenshots to the Custom Robo Discord about that. And despite them having money issues there, she points out how it's weird how they all have custom robos. And they bought it on credit. There's a 24% interest rate, and it's quite atrocious. They don't have monetary sense. Everyone else in this universe is dumb.
Yes.
But for whatever reason, the little girl has great lines like that because this game is just weird.
Yeah, this game has amazing, just little flavor text to it.
Oh, so
you
best
see
laugh.
Yeah, best character in the game, best laugh.
Yeah.
Sorry, second best character in the game with the best laugh. Also, I like the welcome sign that has capitalizes the L and the M.
Yeah. That's the best laugh. And third best laugh.
If you go fast enough in one particular part of the run,
It layers.
it overlaps the evil laugh.
Oh, so it shouts to a cafe, not a bar at all. Look at all those plates and saucers and teacups.
Yeah.
Oh, so the overall map movement has been determined to what is shortest.
Yeah.
It's just what it is. Yeah, exactly. Ha ha ha, he he he. Or he 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 ha ha ha. One of the two.
Yeah,
And
so
there.
the boss tells us to go over to the nearby coffee shop that is owned by his friend, and apparently there's a wanted man there, worth a lot of money if they collect the bounty on him. We get there, and the it's also great just in the text. Harry's like, "Why do you know where this guy is? I'm at the coffee shop. I saw him with my own eyes." And then they say, "Wait, why aren't you doing anything about it? I like my coffee now. Just get over here." And he gets over there, and Evil's already bagged the crook, and the coffee shop guy just says, "Oh, your boss was just kind of sitting in the corner writing poetry, sipping coffee."
Yeah.
And you get back to the boss. He yells at you for why didn't you catch the crook? And then Marcia just says, "So you read any good poems lately, boss?" Well, job well done, everyone.
Yeah.
Just like
Things happen. Bye.
stealthily retreats.
Also, now there's a corpse because this game thought it'd have a story 5 days in.
Yeah, so 5 days in, decides to be a little bit serious, and there's a dead guy in the Chinese restaurant here. And we're the first person to figure anything out about this, because the guy who owns this place doesn't want to call the police because he's afraid he's going to have his restaurant taken down, which is what happens.
Yeah. Also, there's still a bit of stuff. So, High Spirit, if you have any donations, this would be a good time because there's going to be a just mashing for a little bit.
We don't have any donations that come in, but just a reminder, after this is East 1 Chronicles by Cuss Trader, and after that is Final Fantasy VII PC with Natara. You can choose to name any of the characters if you want. They all have a name, but some of them are really easy to cite. And then after that is The Legend of Zelda, race between Blissless and Starkover, and there are no names for any of the file names right now, so you can still choose that if you would like.
Alright, so now we have to actually do the last customization of the Robo in Custom Robo. In blue is clearly a new winner if I remember correctly. If I'm wrong, I'll change that. It's
still blue. Nobody's even contested it.
Whoever wanted the blue metal ape really wanted the blue metal ape. But yeah, so you can customize the colors as well. I will go after green here. I want to get rid of first, actually. So basically, there's a contention for the bounty hunters on which company should deal with this issue first. Evil was there first, but he's giving us opportunity to. I can hit yellow for a bit.
Yeah.
There's some contention on who should beg this job, basically. So he's giving us an opportunity. That was a phenomenal fight. I couldn't even explain what I was doing.
Yeah.
I got a perfect on that.
Freaking Metal Ape, dude.
Yeah, this is the difference between Metal Ape and Rayo 1. The charge is different, has that little helicopter spin. You have more bulk and stuff like that.
It's basically a Shoryuken, basically.
More or less. It's a great wake-up move anyway, so it's even more like it.
So, now we have to talk to everyone.
Yeah.
Somebody said, like, why is a dead guy in a Chinese restaurant important? Well, you see, our coworker Marcia has the specific ability that she can look into somebody's RoboCube and see what they saw in their last fight. In his case, he was fighting a robot that was autonomous, functioning on its own, and the shock of the loss was so extreme it actually just straight up killed him.
He probably lost to Harry.
That's so mean, dude.
It's true.
Yeah. So, meanwhile, while the police are trying to take care of the situation, the boss gets a call from the coffee shop, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you aren't aware, in the Japanese version, the reason the boss didn't help out was because this is changed in localization. It's meant to be a bar, and he just was drunk. Anyways, so in this tournament that we're doing, the guy who owns the coffee shop, Bogey, runs an illegal gambling ring in the back of his coffee shop. And there's a guy by the name of Shiner who's just been destroying everyone to the point where there's no real competition in any of the bets. And it's kind of ruining Bogey. So he wants us to come in and take him out and actually make the tournaments competitive again.
Yeah, so basically...
Oh, go on.
No, I was going to say, basically, we're just supposed to be here to show that he can be beaten so they can encourage more bets happening so they can make more profit. Which is why they can't get the police involved because, you know...
So this guy, our neighbor here, is in here saying, please go easy on me, let me win so that I can have enough money to feed my family. And then after you beat him, he just says, no, not my toupee. So he's pretty much just here to win some money so he can get himself a toupee to cover
Which
his
he
bald
does.
spot.
He does get.
He does eventually get the toupee.
I guess lots of toupees.
Oh yeah, it's again, this game is great. It doesn't take itself seriously at all. So before every fight, you have to master a bunch of text, usually from Harry. And that text is generally tutorial text. You know this is tutorial text because the text is green.
Yeah.
And anytime you build up to a fight and there's tutorial text, you're given 3 answers. And this is another part of where this game really shines. On each one of these, you're given 3 options. I get it, I don't get it, and snark. And the snark is amazing.
Yeah, some of them are like lesser for the snark, but some of them are just perfect, or it makes you feel better about having a bad pace just to answer it a couple times and just reset the run.
A kid calls Harry a jerk. A kid calls Harry a jerk. Harry gets upset, and then he tells you tutorial text, and some of your answers are, I get it, I don't get it, and haha, they called you a jerk. Stuff like that.
Rub salt in the wound. 1, 2. So Harry, unlike last time, isn't much of a threat anymore because I have Metal Ape.
Yeah, so the nice thing about Metal Ape, and the biggest reason why we've picked Metal Ape up, is he is bulkier than Rayo 1, and bulk is actually extremely valuable in this game. Given that there are several double battles, and you really want to be on your feet, because every time you get knocked down, you lose like 5 seconds.
Also, if you ever plan to stream this game, make the game very quiet.
Oh dear God. Yeah, this game is a nightmare to balance for audio.
In OBS, it's at minus 20.2 decibels, and then in the Elgato settings I have, it's at 50%. And it's still as loud as you're hearing it. So, just as a heads up, you can deafen people if you're not careful. Just a disclaimer.
Yeah. It's a little insane.
So, also, neutral jumps are absolutely wonderful in this game because you can approach people very easily. Oh, I should actually explain what I'm doing with three-way gun, shouldn't I? Because I am actually doing a technique with it. There's a short hop jump that you can do, and basically you push A and B on the ground. The relatively same window. It is actually pretty generous. But you do an aerial shot on the ground, and the aerial shot for the three-way gun actually drags the enemy towards you. And hey, I want praise me. There we go. That's a little bit quicker. There's not too many text choices which are quicker overall, based on where they are, especially since it takes time other than mash through to actually select it. But there's a couple choices which are quicker. One of them there, another one on day 6 coming up. Excuse me. And yeah, basically the close range shot will drag the enemy towards you. Thus, you can continue a combo versus I think the original stat was get them into the corner and then keep shooting them and keep them in a corner.
Pretty much.
So what's my time for the end of day?
36, 39, 40.
Okay, I'm on a 2-hour 10 pace right now. Then. Oh wait, no, I'm on 2-hour 30. Cool. All right, Steel Hearts.
Alright, so we beat Shiner up, and Shiner had a really annoying model, but thankfully that fight went really well.
Yeah, I didn't want to talk about it during that.
Yeah, so what ends up happening is Harry notices the big Z on his coat and says something about something called a Z Syndicate. And I will call it Z. Shauny insists on it being the Z Syndicate.
I'm Canadian, so...
Yes, which is some big evil Team Rocket organization. You probably will hear of them more as the game goes on. And the lights conveniently go out, and they make their escape. And Marcia has a bump in with the blue-haired gentleman, and that sets off character. So she goes running after him, and then just the next day isn't quite herself.
Totally unrelated, the two blue-haired people met up. Oh. Being Canadian is not really much of a problem for people. But I hope you get over it.
Dude.
Alright.
It's fine. We tease Shauny for being one of the few Canadian runners of this game.
Actually, the leaderboards are technically Canadian bred and an American filling, if you look at it.
Yeah, so the first and last place runs are Canadian.
Although I haven't been dethroned in a while.
That's how you do it, High Spirits. That's how you do it, High Spirits.
Yeah.
This fight's going. This fight's really annoying because the little train that rolls around the arena is just a nuisance.
Yeah.
Thankfully, this kid has a model called Sealhead, which is... It's a bulky model, but unlike Metal Ape, it doesn't have really any mobility, and it gets down for an age. So he's just really easy to just back into a corner and just shoot in the butt over and over again.
Oh wait, I had the naming screen and stuff, didn't I? Okay, no, I'm on a really decent pace right now. Because I actually had to name a character instead of just burning through it. Yeah, so basically the boss for Ernest decided to, hey, let's make everyone enter this tournament, so if they win, we can publicize Steel Hearts as being the best bounty company around. So people come with
so the developers of this game read a little bit too much Shonen Jump.
Yes.
So they incorporate a metric ton of tournaments. So, you know, every Shonen Jump manga has a ton of tournament arcs.
That was an excessive death for Dom. Also, Dom actually became one of the worst fights in the game to be to one of the most consistent fights.
Yeah, so he has a really bizarrely shaped arena, and it can be a real annoying fight to deal with. Also, this pink-haired girl that we saw on day 2 decided to enter this tournament, and her whole deal in this tournament is that she's basically been asking every guy out in exchange for them forfeiting the match. And it turns out that seems to work, because now she's in the top 16.
Actually, that next tournament I'm at.
Actually, I think it's top 8. But she actually tempts you, and you almost get tempted. Like, your character seriously thinks about it, which I think is hilarious.
It's cute.
Yeah. It also is one of the easier fights in the game, because her model falls really fast, meaning that it's really easy to just set up a stun bomb.
Yeah, you can see how broken the stun bomb is here in particular. Because Metal Ape is slow, but when you don't have to worry... Hey, I'm set. Yay! I landed on top of the platform. Basically, since he's so slow, you need the Center Bomb S to catch up. And unlike the Rayo 1, you don't have 2 air dashes, you have a singular air dash. So you had to really make good on being able to move around the arena very quickly. But then again, if you want to speedrun this game with whatever Robo, by all means. Like, it's not set in stone. Like, if you can't use metal grapplers at all and you're like little raiders, you get an opportunity for that, I believe. I think you do. I know you get Defender at least for Lightning Sky model and stuff, but for the most part, if you want consistency, it's probably safer to do Easy would be nice.
So briefly touched on what categories there are in this game. Because you can customize your Robo, there's a ton of other categories. There's New Game Plus, which is just you have all the parts unlocked. That category is free because there are some really broken parts. There's Low Percent, which is you use default parts and never bother to get any additional parts. There's also New Journey and Grand Battle. So the category we're doing here is any percent New Journey, which is the story mode. There is Grand Battle, which is a bunch of post-game like fight gauntlets, basically. And then all parts is just the 100%, which combines both of them, as well as a few additional parts that you can just pick up along the way, because there are certain little bonus parts. Yeah, the nameless characters get pretty self-aware. Again, the localization team for this game had a field day.
Yeah, and also, who would ever use a knuckle gun, right?
We'll use a knuckle gun on your face, dude.
So we ran this game at RPG Limit Break as a two-person relay race with 2 teams. And honestly, we did very, very... I'm actually really surprised that... Because you guys finished the 212 with death, right?
Yeah, it was a 211-20 something with a single death, which we haven't really touched on, but deaths can happen pretty much any run. You don't know it, and it can happen to even the best of us.
Oh, whoops. That was muscle memory. I was actually reading the chat fighting there. Cool. So this is one of the selections that makes a difference. You select a third one, and then there's There's no animation stop or anything. So, whoops! I beat Marcia without realizing it.
So you win the tournament and you're like, come, check us out at Steel Hearts. And everyone in the room just cringes. And Harry's like, suddenly I'm glad I didn't win the tournament.
Actually, since Steel Hearts was supposed to win, for some reason you can't forfeit that match and let Marcia win. You have to go to, lossless through this entire game. Which is really annoying because technically that should be fine there.
Yeah, so we win the tournament. But as Shauny was alluding to, at a limit break this year, we had a race, and then we also had a 1v1 tournament, which Shauny basically went the entire time without losing a round.
Yep.
And he played a robot that had a robot called Chicken Heart. It's just a flying chicken. And Knuckle Gun, which is a really good melee weapon.
But you have to get incredibly close.
You basically beat people by punching them in a game where you shoot guns at robots with a specific setup, and ever since then, Chicken Heart has just been something a bit of a running gag in the Robo community.
Yeah.
All right, so to explain the, go on.
I was gonna say to the point where on the first day of this marathon, when I donated $5 for Stinger, he could either name the custom Robo file either his own username, or it had to be Chicken Heart, and he begrudgingly picked Chicken Heart. So.
Shout out to Stinger. Shout out to the whole Robo community.
Yeah, everyone's really good. We're making fun of each other, and we're really chill. So. Also, just make fun of me, and you'll fit right in.
Pretty much. I do it every day.
Yeah, which is actually why I had the title screen initially as Shauny win sub 2. Because the estimate for this game is 210 that I gave High Spirits. I haven't got anything above 205 in probably 4 or 5 months now. And I'm probably the only one in the community who can consistently do that right now. And I don't know why. Something about this game just clicks with me. It was Kung Fu Chicken, yeah.
Alright, so what we're doing at the lab here is Linda called us here because strange figures have been seen around the building at night. So we talk to everyone, find out a few little bits of information, but all in all, nobody really knows what's going on here. So we're called along with Evil to do a stakeout and figure out what the heck is going on here.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as we go to that door, there's this glass breaking, so we think there's a break-in. There's nobody here, however, and Evil says, "Alright, somebody might have set up a bomb." They say to check everything. You only have to check this bookshelf and then talk to Marcia. But strange things have been going around the rest of the lab, and more break-ins happen.
Oh, there goes my notes. Thank you, window.
So now we see these very fashionable-looking villains here with their
They're very cheap.
red. They're very purple clothing and berets. Yeah, so these are Z Syndicate members. So when I said that they were unimportant, I lied, obviously.
Shocker. So that little kind of black hole thing effect that was on the ground there is actually the main reason we don't use pods right now. Because it lingers for so long, it could bounce me away from trying to do combos. Like there. I could try to do a little bit of extra damage with it, but for the most part, there you go. Try to go straight there. So you don't want to be using the pods. Unfortunately for New Journey, from the time we touched the parts generator for the last time, we don't bother with... there's nothing useful for us for pods. So Speed Pod D is like really the last thing we can use. Because otherwise it's I think Twin Flank F is the only other one that really is useful. So gotta demonstrate that briefly there, just to show why it's kind of bleh. Alright, so next fight, this is against a guy, Robo called Criminal. He likes to bounce up in the sky when you do the close range 3-gun shot with him. I think that was Ghost King typing.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So on the third one here, I just pause it briefly. So I briefly hit him, so I don't do a close range shot. I just do a normal shot, so it keeps him on the ground. And because there's normal, and then ground, and he can't fly over the walls anymore, and it stops him from being able to do stuff. And you can just wreck him. So there's a lot of weird, tiny nuances in combat. I love explosion thing. That basically you can use and exploit. And the next fight's gonna be really fun because it's on an ice stage with a dude who is a strike fasher and has a shotgun. And I need to focus. I'll let Ghost explain this guy.
Yeah, so he has a shotgun. Shotgun is probably the most annoying weapon that we deal with on a regular basis in this run. There's like 4 or 5 fights in the game that have shotgun. And what it does is it has a fairly short range, but it can down you instantly, which is annoying because that's time loss. And in fact, many shotgun fights are the most dangerous regular fights in the game. Like, this game doesn't really have conventional boss fights, but it does have fights that are set to be like the boss of each day, which is meant to be like the hardest fight of each day. The shotgun fights are pretty much all of the toughest non-boss fights.
Yeah.
So you really need to kind of space yourself. Much of running this game consists of knowing how AI behaves. So spacing yourself properly is a big part of this run. Like, although our strategy is pretty much the same in most fights of this game, shoot with the 3-way, get up close, down them, and then shoot them a bunch. And enemy behavior is pretty consistent. There is still randomness to the enemy behavior, and if you mess up anything, you can take a shotgun to the face, and it is no bueno.
Yeah. Also,
are there any fights you run a real risk of losing? Yes, there are 2 fights in particular, but any fight along the way, the enemy could just like have your number and just destroy you.
Yeah, because okay, so actually during the RPG
like at Limit Break,
yeah.
I had a death on just the most random fight.
Yeah, and he's just a rando that never really has ever been a threat to Ghost ever. And that one time he's like, you know what, we're just gonna end it.
Yeah, so our strategy consists of pretty much going ham the entire run. And sometimes the enemy just happens to be smart and decide, you know, I'm going to shoot every time he gets close, and it's just not your day.
The other times they sit there and go, hey, what's that? And you shoot him in the face like what the twin did there.
Yeah.
That was a super clean twin fight. I didn't want to talk about it as well. She has an illegal Robo illegal gun, and she does a lot of damage. And I got a perfect.
And she also can jump 7 times,
yeah,
which is obnoxious.
So that's a time save between that.
Yeah, so this woman's name is Woman, just like 2 other women in this game. We call her a twin because she has an identical twin. Spoiler. But her name is Eliza.
Lost track of the text boxes there. Oh!
And she's basically running the Z Syndicate invasion of this lab here.
Yeah, and now we have to go deal with a break-in at Bogies. But I actually should explain as well, the text boxes in this game are annoying. Because I'm mashing through it as fast as possible, but unfortunately, unlike other games or other RPGs and stuff like that, you might be able to hold the button and have to scroll. That's not the case with Custom Robo. You have to mash, and you have to mash very, very fast to get a very, very good time, I should say.
It's not too bad. We do 2-hand mashing on A and B. Thankfully, A and B advanced text. You just kind of have to know when to press A and when mashing A and B will work for you. But yeah, there's like 8 frames of delay on every text box, so you'll know you're mashing perfectly if you don't hear any of the blip bloop sound effects that the characters make, because everyone in this game speaks like a Banjo-Kazooie character.
I'll load play it just in a sec here. It's going to be Harry talking. It's just... Oh, I see. But that's
so
the
here's
kind of blips.
This is this really gaudy looking robot, which Marcia recognizes as the autonomous robot that killed the guy at the Chinese restaurant. So yeah, he's really creepy looking.
Okay, so this guy is a Lightning Sky model. He is a jerk. He has all illegal stuff. And he is also someone who could potentially just cause a huge time loss in the run-in. But not so much death on this one. He's going to get a 6. Yeah, good.
It's a very, very illegal Robo, given that he literally killed somebody.
Come on, kid.
So, effectively, this is a supercharged Lightning Sky model. He has the defense of, like, a metal bear, or metal ape, and the mobility of a model that can just fly all day. So Lightning Sky model, Shiner uses one. As you can see, what it basically does is it has a really, really long air dash.
Yeah. That was actually a pretty bad fight, but I'd probably still take that in a run, because, yeah, he's just that annoying. See if I can do the mashing a little bit faster here.
We'll explain that later. Looks like something out of Parasite Eve. Yeah, its name is Rahu, and it's very uncanny looking.
Actually, Rahu is based off, I think, an Indian word, I think, which is like destroyer of sun and moon, I think, or something on his lines. So it's actually based off something.
Yeah,
too.
Yeah. In fact, there was an Indian guy who came into my work once with the name Rahu, and because I played this game a ton, I had to keep myself from giggling.
So this is another Lightning Sky model. He's a jerk.
Yeah, it's an illegal supercharged version of a Lightning. Did he just charge?
Yeah, he did.
His charge is the worst in the game.
And he hit me with it, so you know.
One of the worst. I've literally never seen it get hit at all. I've literally never seen that get a hit.
Oh, so you can see the shadows going down all the way, because this game is weird that way. Instead of just making shadows on one. Oh, come on, wall.
Yeah, we're like this arena looks like the ceiling of a really tall building, but every floor below it
portrays a shadow as well.
Yeah, so these two guys here, the blue-haired man in the lab coat with no arms, and the one of his portraits, it looks like he has no arms, and the gray-haired ninja-looking dude. They're both Z Syndicate members. They're here to try and steal, but Rahu flew away, so they ran after it.
There you go. So that is
the freaking ninja evil guy.
Yeah, may or may not be based off an anime character.
Yeah.
So bad. Anyway.
So dumb. I'll tell this. I want to tell the story because it's too stupid.
Yeah, go for it. As it's going to explain, basically, we're going to be drafted into a tournament because after the Rahu threat, the police want to see who's the best battlers. That's the storyline. There's no Lucy there. I just stopped to talk to her for no reason. So yeah, feel free to explain the horrible ninja story.
Yeah, so that character's name is Oboro. He's a big gray-haired, evil-looking dude. He's actually not that threatening. And on the Custom Robo wiki, somebody put, he may or may not be a reference to Jiraiya from Naruto. And we just read this article and we're like, how the hell do you make this connection here? Like,
it's because he had a smoke bomb.
What is this? It's like, he also has a smoke bomb, like a ninja. we're sitting there reading this, like, who wrote this? So since then, we've edited the Custom Robo wiki article on him to remove that. We just have a lot of just dumb jokes. Also, shout out to Swerve and Protect.
Also, the tag battle convention on the sign in the back there, because they couldn't even get the. There's not a tournament, it's a convention we're at right now. So everyone enjoy the convention. Meet your icons. Whatever else you do at conventions that I actually haven't been to one. I assume there's some sort of hot dog there. I'm not a very exciting person. Hey, Wendy. And the last two people. This is how many times you have to keep talking to everyone in a room, but I think that's the final one.
Yeah, pretty much.
Then...
So this tournament is amazing. At the top, like, there's like 128 participants. At the top left is 64 participants in the doubles tournament. At the top left is a bracket filled with nothing but the generic nameless boy model, and every time you talk to them, it's amazing. So they will say things like, they didn't even bother to give us names. I don't know how we're even winning in this tournament. And like one pair of them actually makes it all the way through the round robin. Like one of them just says, we're literally here just to pad the bracket.
Yeah. And Steelheart
The
actually...
flavor text is great.
Steelhead. Actually wanted to behave there, because normally Swift, the little yellow robot here, I'm shooting up, she normally goes down one bullet. She's actually really annoying, and she tends to peck at you basically through the entire match. But for some reason, she actually was nice this time. So I got just absolutely wreck Steelhead, which is always the most fun thing.
Shout outs to Fire in chat here. Fire with the J.
The random J in the middle.
Yeah. Fire, random J in the middle, or...
Fajir.
Yeah.
So basically, me and Fire yesterday, he was going through the assets of the game, and I was just practicing, just testing the server, making sure quality was good and stuff like that. And oh, we were just figuring out so much. Like in the license hall, Fire finally pointed out the things on top of the test machines are actually Holoceums, and we're like, oh.
Yeah, Coliseums are the name of this game, the Battle Arena, because obviously they couldn't just call it Robo Arena. Have to give it a cool name like Coliseum.
Oh, this game
Anyways.
is steeped in like early 2000, late 90 fashion as well. You got random rings, you got wearing overalls with Harry.
It's the kind of game that would make Tetsuya Nomura jealous. So the deal with this particular fight is we fought these two guys on dates too. You actually had a choice between two of them. And they were causing a ruckus because the pink-haired girl, Mary, they asked her out to the same date, same place, same time, same day, and they were fighting for her affection, causing a riot. Once we knocked them out, they both ran away, and then it turns out that they both had a lot in common, so they decided to become friends, and then they enter this tournament a week later. And when you beat them, it's great. They say, our friendship isn't strong enough. How are we going to do this? Friendship energy needs to come back. Quick, let's go back to the park and beat each other up again.
Which
to rekindle
actually,
our friendship and energy.
Gotta give credit, this game is very, very good for making things like when you choose to wander. If you choose to wander and go to the park, they are there. So even after the tournament, they are there beating each other up, rebuilding their friendship. And I don't know what level of detail these people had, but just whatever, it's weird. Also, freeze pods can stop, please. So there's a little tiny Robo
like,
here.
Really,
We'll go for it first.
yeah, I was just gonna say, really, this game is worth playing for its dialogue alone. But it's also fun, and story mode can be completed in probably 6.5 to 8 hours casually.
And I am working on getting it sub 2, which is actually going well for the most part. Like I'm getting consistent runs and I'm learning new things. I have to start doing more things with the runs and incorporate new speed podgy like that. But yeah,
This run would be about an hour quicker if you could cutscene skip.
oh god, yeah. Or just just shut up Harry.
Yeah.
'Cause most of the text actually probably comes from Harry and all his tips. Oh, so I think this is the battle? Yeah, Walt and Carmen. They're realizing that there's no money for this, but she wants a designer bag, he wants a toupee. So now they're angry and now they're gonna verse us. Because...
Yeah. It's the roller coaster of what happens here. They're both excited to come here because the wife, Carmen, wants a bag and the husband wants a toupee. And then Harry says, you do realize you're not making any money in this tournament. And then they get really sad. And then they get angry at each other because there's no money to be made. And they're like, aw, they're like, I'm so mad. It's like, I am too, honey. Let's take it out. Let's take it out on these two. And then they're like, I love you. I love you too. And Harry's just like, these two are just a veritable roller coaster of emotion.
that and also it's wub. Like they always say wub to each other.
I love.
And also, ice physics
It's
with
like...
Metal Ape is horrible, so if you do tiny small hops, you actually can get around the arena pretty decently.
beyond that, the couple is really fun to just fight because they have really bulky models that just stand there and take shot after shot. Also coming up is the tagline of the custom Robo community. So, Shauny, if you care to slow down a little bit.
I will try.
Your time after this fight is a 1:04, almost on the dot.
Slow.
Yeah, 1:04:04.
Then again, I had a couple good fights. I actually no idea where my pace is right now. Because yeah, you split every fight. I split every at the end of the day. So my sum of best right now is 155, and I just passed it, didn't I?
Yep.
I love Robo battles.
I love Robo battles.
To the point where I completely forgot to stop for that. My bad.
Yeah. So, this is Bogey, and as you find out, his name's Lloyd. Shoutouts to Parable. These two decide that they're going to come to this police tournament to try and recruit people for their illegal gambling ring, under the table, basically. But while we're having this conversation, because we're not going to do anything about it, we're a bounty hunting company, it's not our place to deal with them doing some shady, illegal stuff. And Harry says, wait, they're going to get suspicious of us if we're talking quietly at a police lab. It's like, quick, act natural. How do I act natural? I know. And he just shouts out, I love Robo battles, and just starts shouting all of his strategies and everything. And then there's a Discord call, which, by the way, custom Robo community Discord calls end up being like one person on the squad is streaming, and then suddenly 7 people are in the call. And at max, we've had like 13 people in a call for one person's first run. And Pokey Hero in one of these, he's a fellow runner of the game sometimes. He just says randomly in a conversation we had, I love Robo battles, in the most just deadpan voice. And ever since then, we've pretty much just made it like our mantra is just, we love Robo battles. I love Robo battles. Every time I submit this game to a marathon, I have in the clause, we love Robo battles. As soon as we started our run at Limit Break, everyone in the group just shouted out, we love Robo battles.
Keeping people on the couch. Actually, we actually had 7 people from the community there.
Yeah. So. We basically had a custom Robo Discord call in person at Limit
that was
Break.
a good finish.
It was great.
Yeah, this game can...
That was a good fight.
Yeah, it was really good. This game can really benefit from having Mr. Referee from Metabots. I would love for him to be in this game. Because he is my favorite character ever, because he's just so good. So basically...
really touched on...
Oh, go for it. I was just going to say Marcia is kind of mopey.
Yeah. This game does benefit from having lava, and some of the enemies are more likely to get damaged by the lava than you are, and it does like a flat 100 damage and downs them instantly.
Yeah, and some which have lesser defenses will get hit for like 120, or in the Little Raiders case, 150. And if you somehow manage to get the end boss on lava through like versus mode and stuff like that, it does 900. Because that's fair.
Yeah. So this is Evil. This is, I think, the one time we fight him no, this is the second time we fight him one-on-one. Evil's really easy. He has a trick flyer model, and it's just really easy to deal with. His AI is not very good either.
Yep. Oh, he charged me. That's the one thing I hate about him is his charge is really, really quick. Because Metal Life is slow, Rayo 1 has that kind of pause at the start, and then Evil's is just immediate. I'll take that fight though, he only hit me once.
Yes. Good Evil
bees.
fight.
We need all the bees, please. Because we don't let memes die in the custom Robo community. It's true.
Yeah, so Harry decides to be an insensitive jerk and tell the TO, hey, I'm feeling a little sick. Can Marcia take my place? And the TO's like, sure, cool, even though that violates every tournament rule ever.
Yeah, also best face
And
at
she's
Pawzone.
just, yeah. So she gets kind of mopey because the guy that she saw in the blue with the blue hair was like reminds her of her brother. Spoiler warning: it is her brother who disappeared before the events of the game, and she's now like surprised to see him being evil. And she had a lot of attachment to her brother. Harry basically says, "Get over it," and
It
then
swears at her.
yeah, swears at her because he's a respectable person, but it does kind of finally get her to snap out of it, and she decides I'm gonna actually team up with MC here. So we do a 2v2 fight, and the finals is actually Ernest and Linda. Linda has a hornet gun in which you shoot the bees. You literally just shoot bees at somebody. It is amazing.
Yep.
Yeah, yes, they are technically hornets, but
We don't like
call it that because quoting the Wicker Man is so much more fun.
Yeah. Plus also
Right.
beesbeesbees.com, because having Oprah Winfrey open up a horde of bees to unsuspecting crowd is always funny.
So, if you haven't figured out by now in the run, as much as there's a lot of nuance to each fight, and we just love, we love going in depth with runs, the basic strategy doesn't change too much. And when you're grinding out runs, you just kind of get used to the same old time. So, to entertain ourselves, we all come up with our own silly in-jokes. So that fight is bees, bees, bees. There's We Love Robo battles. There's just all
Beating up
sorts
children
of
is
just...
fun. Isn't that right, Ghost King?
Yeah. Somebody left a YouTube comment where they're trying to nitpick something about that, and I'm just like, no.
The thing is, we can explain all the mechanics of the game within the first 20 minutes of the run, of a 2-hour run. So we need more or less filler for the community. Eventually we start bantering back and forth, we answer people's questions. That was already the party. We got invited for non-food juice and non-food pizza, because nothing in this world is organic. They have...
Basically, they invite us to dinner, but they're cheap, so they order Little Caesars.
Yeah, it's not real pizza. So...
You used to work at one, didn't you?
No.
No, you said something about Little Caesars before.
Never?
No, you worked at Subway.
Yeah.
You worked at Subway, right?
Yeah, I've worked at
I
Subway.
swear I know somebody in the community said something about Little Caesars.
Either way, hashtag not an ad. So now,
Yeah.
the police want to investigate us further, so they're going to hold a private tournament for the main character, Harry and Marcia, or we. And they're basically going to do a horrible amount of fights in a row. And I gotta show off the most awesome clip we have in this, because this game's completely glitchless. And we have table clip
between
upcoming.
these two characters.
Yeah. Pretty much. So you can see between Harry and the table. Watch this madness. First try.
Yeah.
Again, we need
0.2 seconds saved.
Yeah, we actually need to do something to actually entertain ourselves in this run. That's one of them.
Yeah. So the whole reason the police held the tournament was to find the best Robo battlers in the area, and since we all placed in the top of the bracket, the police say, "All right, we think you're we're gonna test you and see really just how good you are and whether you're qualified." Because up until now, main character and Harry only have a E-class license, and Marcia has a B-class license. You need an A-class license to be a policeman officer. But what they're having us do is actually jump immediately to S-class. And S-class is effectively the rank in which you are qualified to know government-classified secrets. Particularly stuff pertaining to Rahu, which was the Robo that killed the guy.
So pay no attention to the perfect fight there. I didn't want to, I hate the defender with a passion, but that was actually exactly how it should go. But 90% of the time, it never, ever looks like that.
So this part's great. So you hear all this text from Harry, of tutorial text. the first police officer's like, hey, that's cheating, giving him tips. But I heard all of your secrets and I can use them too.
Yeah.
Like, guy with an A-class license is listening to random advice from a bounty hunter. And then the very next fight, Harry mentioned something about a tactic involving throwing bombs from behind a wall. And you're like, got it. And the police officer's like, behind a wall, got it.
He wasn't listening.
It's really just clever that, like, these random two fights take, it's like, okay, we've been basically getting tutorial the entire run. Now there's characters are actually, like, saying that they're going to use it. It's just a nice little touch. Yeah. So the same day as the doubles tournament, there was also a singles tournament. This guy was the winner of the singles tournament. After you beat him, he basically says something along the lines of, was there nobody in the singles tournament? Pretty much everyone went to the doubles.
Yeah, so now is Bees Mark II. Because Linda wants to inspect us basically and say, oh, how good are you since we gave you Rayo 1? It's funny, as we play low percent, you actually will be versing with Rayo 1 as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, how good are you with a Robo that you haven't used since 4 days ago?
Well, at this point it'd be 9.
No, we picked up Rayo 1, or we picked up Metal League 4 days ago. Remember?
Oh, I thought you were talking about
this
Rayo
is
1.
Sorry, 5 days.
So you do the ground shot to keep her relatively on the ground, so you can then... Oops, that went so far bomb. The Lightning Sky models are really, really annoying, and unfortunately the Hornet gun, like the shotgun, is one of the very few guns in this run that can down the Metal Lake. And they just are super annoying, because they so home in on you. Because nobody likes getting hit by bees.
Yes.
Or, Hornets.
Yeah, so Linda uses a Lightning Sky model. I want to say it's probably lunch. But yeah, it's, that fight can be a real nuisance at times.
Oh, the other thing we haven't really explained as well is, well, 2 things. One, the talking circle around every character is massive. You can see what I've been talking to the chief, but there's a lot of times where you'll talk to the wrong character if you're really, really not careful. And this game doesn't have any tricks in it or anything. It's just basically how fast can you do this. But talking to people is actually probably the more difficult part of the run. And it's actually really annoying for that regard.
I once lost a run on day 9. It wasn't really a particularly live run, but the way it died was hilarious. So on day 9, when we began the tournament at the police headquarters, Wendy, the little girl, was standing right next to the parts generator. I'm standing right in front of her, and I'm facing a little bit to the right, and I accidentally talked to the parts generator. Which, if you haven't noticed, we've picked up a ton of parts, but we haven't picked them up. And the reason for this is we have all the parts we're going to need for the entire run. If you go to the parts generator and talk to it, you will get every single part that you have not unlocked. And each one has its own little animation that you got to sit through, and this just wastes, seconds, each 3 to 4 seconds for each part.
Basically, I'm stockpiling about 20 to 30 parts right now.
Yeah, and so if you do this, you would just lose a minute.
Yeah, minute and a half. It's bad.
And it's just because of how wide that text box was. I wasn't, or that hitbox was. I wasn't anywhere near it.
So you can see that I'm leading off every single combo with Standard Bomb S, because not only is it doesn't down them, so it doesn't trigger the down or rebirth cycle for damage scaling. But sometimes I need to get to them. This is the most perfect mirror fight, minus that one little hit there. But if it wasn't for the Standard Bomb S, if you were just to switch to the regular Standard Bomb or use something else, you would never come close to them with Metal Ape.
Yeah. So it's worth also noting, by the way, so as we've mentioned at the beginning of each fight, we are in a dice launcher. If you hold down A, you can actually kick the dice launcher down, and we've all run the game enough that we know the timing for it for the most part, that we can consistently shoot the cannon and launch the die to end at 2 or the start of every single fight. But enemies, you'll see, they kind of, their cannon moves around, or their launcher moves around a little randomly. It's worth noting if you see the launcher, like, just stand still, that is exactly where it will launch, it will not move again.
Yeah.
So...
Like the chief there, he decided, oh, I'm gonna point down left.
Yeah. So, it's a really nice tell.
There you go. That's actually a perfect chief fight. He's actually the worst and the best fight in the game.
Yeah, if you're fortunate and it all works out in your favor, the fight looks super clean. If not, this fight just goes nuts.
And I've actually died to him before too, because lava damage.
Yep.
That's a proper mashing. It's about as fast
So
as I
the
can do.
chief assesses us as qualified for S-class license.
What's a conga line?
Yeah. Shoutouts to Conga lines in this game.
There you go.
So the police chief has us take the final part of the S-class license exam, which you will see in a moment is kind of unexpected. Basically, the next fight in the run, Stinger and Rizzle, two fellow runners of the game, have deemed this the hardest fight in the game. So this is Rahu 1 refight.
Yeah.
They have a simulation of Rahu, and this fight has just like it's Rahu 1 but with a ton of AI, and as we mentioned, he has super illegal parts, which are super broken. So this fight, for many people's casual playthrough, this and the final boss are the fights that you just get walled on for, you know, potentially over an hour if you're just not able to keep up. Even in a speed run, this is just a nightmare to deal with. You have to kind of play at a range, because his favorite strategy is to run away and shoot a gun in midair, which his gun has homing, so it's just going to lock on to you.
Yeah, and the thing is, you have to...
Anytime you can down him, it's just nice. Done.
Yeah, because you have to actually not only just down him, there we go. You have to do that on the first try every single time. And no matter how many times I've run this game, he is terrifying.
Yeah, it's... Even a good fight, it's not uncommon for you to be under 400 HP.
Yeah. My best ever when I was practicing yesterday is offline, so no recording, haha. I only got hit once. And I'll never ever get that in a run proper. Because
the annoying thing too, Ocon.
No, I was gonna say the actual chances of him behaving in that fight. Well, actually, the next time you verse Rahu, he's actually easier. He's just more annoying. What's my time at the end of day 10?
Let's see. I'll check for you. So, 121.46.
Okay, I'm on a decent pace.
So, with that fight, what makes it also really kind of annoying is Rahu 1. It's Rahu 1. There's three versions of Rahu. Rahu 1, he has a gun that hits you really hard. Sometimes it downs like instantly and does like 200 damage. Sometimes it hits you, but it doesn't down you. It's just weird and unpredictable.
Oh, so Rahu's smaller now on the ground, just for the record, compared to the model we fought before.
Mm-hmm. So Evil took out a slightly upgraded Rahu from the last time we fought him. And he says, I'm not going to give him to the police. I'm going to take him to the Z Syndicate and join them. So the man named Evil turns out to be evil all along.
Even though he's just more of a jerk.
He's just more of a jerk. He's not actually evil. What he's entirely doing this for is this red-haired woman he has the hots for. So he wants to turn Rahu over to the Z Syndicate just because he's just majorly crushing on her. And as soon as he arrives here, or as soon as she arrives here, he's like, yes, my sweet. And she's like, do I know you? And he's just utterly heartbroken because the woman that he made a deal with, like, I will collect Rahu if you let me join the Z Syndicate and be with you. She doesn't remember him.
Yeah, she won't eventually.
So he's just been completely double-crossed.
There you go. The twin fights have become one of the most common and most easy to read fights for me.
Yeah, the second fight for some reason actually has worse AI than the first one.
I think this is because of the weapon.
Yeah, so we call it the twins fight. If you notice any difference, if you're paying like really close attention, her model in this fight has different parts. But it's also, she has a pink model, whereas the older one had a purple model. This is a completely different person. She's just an identical twin of the woman that we fought at the lab, and that was the one that the evil evil had talked to. So she legit has never met the evil in her life. Two reasons for Metal Ape. One, Metal Ape is bulkier, so it's less likely to be downed. And two, unlike other bulky models, Metal Ape actually is maneuverable. Yeah. We didn't pick up on the last part we picked up, which is the legs. There are leg parts which affect your air or ground mobility, depending on which one you get. We picked up something called long thrust legs, and what long thrust legs does is it enhances your air dash and makes that go longer. On regular size arenas, this is close to 2/3 of the somewhere between half to 2/3 of the arena, which gives you a lot more mobility with the long thrust legs, because Metal Ape's mid-air dash is just a straight, jet forward.
I have never ever got a perfect on that battle.
Nice job.
That was phenomenal. And yes, it does have a slightly increased attack.
The other benefit to Metal Ape is, one thing we didn't really discuss is the height of the Robo does slightly matter for trying to get perfect three-way, and Metal Ape is the perfect height for the three-way. If you're standing next to an enemy and press A and B at the same time, you pretty much guarantee the consistent knock-up combo while an enemy is down. So what's your pace right now?
I don't split there.
Oh, by the way, the world is flat and has a huge wall.
Yeah, that's just common knowledge. You shouldn't question it. So basically, they're going to break these poor people's perceived notions of the world by this bathroom ride. And the world's most sensitive bathroom door, which I will show off later because I love it.
And then also a wall portrait that you high-five.
Yeah, gotta make sure.
We will always insert flat earther jokes here. So in this game, the only part of the world anyone knows is inside this dome. So it is true that in this world, at least to everything these characters know, the world is flat and has a huge wall around it. But there happens to be a train here, which nobody has ever seen. And I swear this train makes me think of Pokemon XD, Yellow Darkness. Or no, Coliseum is the one you ride the train on.
I think it'd be a good donut.
So the police chief here is teaching us the most classified secret of them all, that the world is not actually flat, that there is an expanded world behind it, but it's basically been destroyed. Thanks, Rahu.
Yeah, geez, we didn't even get to enjoy the amusement park. Oh, so our father left for an amusement park?
Yeah.
And he never took us.
He went to go to an amusement park when we were a kid. That's the legit reason why our father left us as a kid, was he left to go to the outer world. Oh,
so you can see the clipping of the world with the lightning, if I do this right?
I also like how everyone just does the wave as soon as they get outside.
Yeah, put your hands up in the air like you just don't care.
Yeah, so everything's been blown up. Thanks, Radu.
Also, this is when the game forgets it has a story. It goes, oh crap.
Yeah, so it just kind of shoehorns plot down your throat at the very end.
Oh, so what's my time for the end date? Because I can give you a...
Let's see. You are currently on... The end of the day here is... At Fade Out was 128.04.
I'm on a 202 pace, so that's up to you guys if you want me to showcase off bad ending.
Okay, you should go for it. It's amazing.
I won't read all the text, but I will skim through it at a decent pace because there's unfortunately a lot of text there.
Yeah.
And I want to try to do it quickly because otherwise it's going to be a little more annoying. But
So basically, he was just, dude, what if the world was a giant square? That'd be interesting.
No, it's the thing is, it's a giant Robo cube, and this is one side of it. Mind blown. Also, this game is way too programmed, way too well programmed.
Yeah, we have no real glitches. If you manage to find a way to sequence break, the game just kind of crashes, and that's only through action replay codes. All right, so this is bad ending.
There.
So they give you a choice. Do you want no? And Harry keeps saying, "Are you sure? No. Are you sure? No. Are you like? Come on, I'm begging you. Like, even if I beg, no." It's like, I'll help you out. It's like, I'll get you a cute girl. It's like, then do it for me. Don't do it for me, then do it for Marcia. It's like, fine, then do it for me. Definitely no.
Yeah, that's. Why would you ask that? He's pointing with all 4 fingers on my screen now.
Yeah. So you keep on saying no, and you think this is a but thou must. But after 20 consecutive times of saying no, you decide you're not going to go. And a week passes, nobody hears from anyone, and the human race is annihilated by Rahu. And then Harry gets really mad and scolds you and says, "How could you do this? The world was ended, and I died. Next time say yes, dang it."
Yeah, think about picking the other option. Oh,
So
so
we're
world's
gonna
most
have the-
sensitive bathroom door. It opens when you're near the toilet. Just want to show that off too.
That's not
was it?
inconvenient.
I don't think it was, because I think my world record pace was a 201. Because I haven't redone the any percent one yet for that. I actually did get a new world record in low percent bad ending a couple days ago. I managed to PB by 5 minutes.
Yeah, so we have a bad ending race category in this game, and this is to kind of eliminate the randomness and volatility of the end game. Bad ending was just sort of kind of a meme for a while, but it did serve one really useful purpose, and that is that it gives us a consistent low percent category to play around with. So low percent is kind of a for fun challenge playthrough that you can do where you just beat the game as Rahu, or sorry, as Rayo 1.
That's not the F word I would use to define low percent, but sure, why not?
Yeah. But the biggest problem is the final boss in this game is naturally pretty hard. There's some consistency with Metal Ape, but with just default Rayo 1 parts,
It's no.
that fight straight up depends on whether or not you get favorable results from RNG. Like whether or not, you know, Rahu decides to be your friend. Which, yes, the final boss of this game is Rahu, but it's supercharged Rahu.
Yeah. Which is only the more annoying part of things. So this is actually the fight that Ghost died on during RPG Limit Break, and I will probably have just as bad luck, hopefully not a death, because for whatever reason, this one has like the best AI in the game. And it is infuriating. So hopefully this goes well.
Yeah, so now we're raiding the Z Syndicate to find Rahu, because the evil Z Syndicate has kidnapped Rahu, or basically taken it to try and control it.
Oh, now you behave. Like in my last attempt, you didn't behave at all, buddy. Bull. That's really, really annoying. So yeah, that was actually the most flawless fight I've ever had of him because I complained about it, clearly. So now Shiner V2. He can be super annoying. So.
Oh, we actually haven't talked about one particular thing here. So this fight's basically the same thing as last time. He flies around and is annoying. So you notice that we're playing this on English.
Yep.
This game sadly never got a European release, so the only releases are North American and Japanese. The Japanese version has a couple of little quirks, like the main character has a headband that stretches down to his knees, rating it's that anime.
Oh, God. My luck.
They toned that down considerably in the North American version. Now he just has a headband concealed by his hair.
Which doesn't make sense, because it should be on the other side of his head.
Yeah.
Oh, so that was the best Shiner fight. Sure, let's just mess up, because I showcased off bad ending. Now I'm going to have like the best dead hideout going.
Well, it probably wasn't going to be PvE anyway.
I was a minute and a half away, so I would have had a respectable sub 201 at least.
Anyways, the other difference is the Japanese version has one additional text box on every save prompt, so it is slightly slower to run on Japanese version.
Yep.
As far as we are aware, because we don't really have any glitches or anything. Certainly no region-exclusive glitches.
No, and if there was, I think that would make it a very unfair advantage for one over the other. But as far as I'm concerned, even with some slowdown in the Japanese, it's still just, you know, it's basically the same game. Again, perfect. No, not near perfect Metal Bear. It's scenic route.
Yeah, it is maybe a second slower in total. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less, I'm not really sure. But we do know it's ever so slightly slower.
Yeah, and also this game is rated teen because the fight after this is actually really, really risque. No.
Oh, yeah, we don't know if we can show this on Twitch.
Okay.
So, this game isn't listed on the bad games from Twitch, so we'll show it to you. So this arena is really annoying because there are conveyor belts. And this will slide you into the lava.
Yep.
If you're not
Yeah,
careful.
and the guy's bombs and stuff will pinball you around as well.
Yeah, he also has a needle gun.
Oh,
It's really
yes! I managed to get that kill.
annoying. Nice. Oh, that was smooth. That looks so smooth, dude.
Yeah.
Alright guys, get your
Sorry for your eyes.
ready.
Such lewd. This is the underpants man.
Ooh.
We don't make fun of him. We respect him as a row paddler, or whatever the hell the
Yes.
commander.
Yes, we unironically respect this guy because he has a bulky model and a shotgun. Meaning that he is one of the few models you can knock down down instantly with a straight point blank three-way. You have to get a standard bomb S that were at least a couple of shots off if you want to down him, or otherwise he'll just down you. Also, I like how he dove head first in the lava there.
He's not caring at all. Yeah. Oh, 2 HP.
So, this is a rather difficult fight for the most part.
That still wasn't bad. I've actually had perfect fights on him before with abusing Standard Bomb S. I actually can explain a little bit of AI. When you're close to the Robo, once they're down and go into the reburst cycle, so when they have their iframes, they actually will show us a shotgun. They will actually have they will always jump and air dash away from you. If you're far away, they will walk. That's the only thing that has a shared common trait between all the Robos for their AI. So you can exploit that by using Standard Bomb S and whatnot. He's gonna get a 6, I'm gonna get a 3. Okay, good. Also, ideally you want every match to the cube to land on a 1. But, no, that's really gonna be asking for like, perfect RNG.
I think it's probably impossible. I think this game is just set that you will for sure have, unless you know how to manipulate it. There might be some way to manipulate it.
Well, I know, like, again, it's the 6-1-5-2-4-3 combo.
Yeah.
Which I should actually explain since I just said that out loud. The cube always starts at a number, and then you'll see it'll snap, basically. That's the way I can describe it. Like, once the camera zooms in, the number will change. when a number is zooming in, you can actually see if it's a 1. Let's see if I can see it here first. It's going to be a 5, so it's going to snap to a 2, and then the ready will cover it up. So I hold down the A button, and then I'll fire over here, rotate the control pad, mash, and I got a 2 versus his 5, so that I can start attacking him. So you can kind of do that, but ideally I want 1 each time, because obviously speedrunners want to go fast. And that's basically all I can do to manipulate the cubes. And then you also have to base on the fact that sometimes you don't want a good cube launch as well. Like, you always want to be able to come out first, but you have to also aim it where you want in the arena. The fact that you went towards him was RNG. Like, I just happened to react fast enough. You might fire off on the opposite side of the arena. So, if you ever pick up this game, have fun trying to figure out where they're going to shoot the Robo cubes to. And if it rolls over to a 6, you wasted a lot of time. My time should be about 142 right now.
You're at 139.
Oh, look. Okay. I thought it'd be at least on a 206 pace, so alright, cool. That means I'm still sub 203 right now.
Well, apparently this is going so easy for you, Shauny. You had time to drop a $5 donation.
Yes, I did. Enjoy the magic trick.
Thank you very much. Now get back to work, damn it.
I will. I'll try to entertain people. Also, this is the worst partner fights in the run, despite what a couple other people might say about other people. But Roy is useless. If you watch the blue Robo, he will sit way far away from things and not do anything. And I'll just take out yellow here, thankfully. Also, you always want to
hide behind a wall and chuck bots and try and shoot. Pretend he's useful.
Yeah, he's really not though. He's actually
also
hitting me with more
annoyingly
bombs right now than anything else.
Yeah, we get that quite often. People speedrun Custom Robo. Yes, you can speedrun this game.
Yeah, actually I made an entire video walkthrough on YouTube for every single day and broke down every single component I can possibly think of. I plan to go back and redo quite a few aspects, but I've been doing follow-up videos. So to speedrun the game takes 2.5 hours-ish or whatever. The speedrun guide is roughly 8 hours, but I broke them up into the more important days and stuff like that, and just small mechanic videos, and if there's any requests or anything, I can always fill them up too. But we actually have a pretty decent guide, but I just gotta publicize it more. And, yeah. Also, the Custom Robo Discord, if you want to just chill, is a really, really nice place too.
Yeah. We have a Discord. You can hit either me, Ghost King, or Shauny for a link.
Yeah, you guys gave me the Discord for some reason.
Yeah. Thanks, Drac.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just really chill community. So what's really annoying is Yellow in this fight has a shotgun.
It's not really televised very easily. You'll notice it when it hits you. Oh.
Yeah. We joke about Pokey here. He hasn't run the game in a while. I think he mashes a particular way and has kind of issues with mashing, so we just couldn't keep up the grind to get down to a sub 210. Which, there are kind of two basic milestone times, I think, with this game. Usually your first run will probably be around 3 hours. The first milestone time in this game is your first sub 230 run. That's probably going to happen within your first 4 or 5 runs. And then the second is sub 210. And kind of, when you have a sub 2 hour and 10 minute time, you've hit the threshold for you're a qualified, decent runner of the game.
Now if you can do it consistently.
Yeah, you are good. You are at the point where we could say that you are a good runner.
Yeah, and basically when it comes down to consistency, I am the most consistent. M-Toms would be the second, and then probably Ghost King's third most consistent for runs. Although I don't think that we're on the leaderboard, because I know Rizzo has a decent time, but Rizzo's never going to run 80% again.
Yeah.
He likes ground battle, and he does not like using Metal Ape and a three-way gun. But he has a the leaderboards right now is 2 hours 10 seconds to, I think it's 2 hours 5 minutes 27, and then 2 hours 6 minutes 15 for the top 3 places.
So now we're doing a refight against Sergey and Aboro, except Sergey turns on Aboro.
He's scum.
Sergey, that scum.
Yeah. Also, Old Man Beatdown is 3v1. So...
Yeah,
I
so
just
this
feel
is
bad for
the
this.
this is the freest fight in the game, to the point where I actually had to check, do they like actually give a Boro victory text? And surprisingly they do. The only way for you to lose this fight pretty much is to surrender. Or maybe hang in the background and deliberately chuck bombs at your allies.
Or yourself.
And then yourself.
Oh,
Or no, chuck bombs
Marcia!
at yourself.
So close. I was gonna say, we also have a kind of meme thing there, is we try to get a triple perfect. She hit herself at the end. There's only 2 perfects there. Oh, so this next fight, Rahu 2, is annoying because he wants to be... he has basically no down frames. He just immediately gets back up, and then he has iframes. So he's great.
I want to say it's about 30 seconds. Or sorry, 30 seconds. 30 frames or half a second, because this game runs 60 frames per second.
Mm-hmm. So it's really, really aggravating. You'll see him, if you see him get downed into the rebirth, you'll see the difference between that. And then after this, there's about 1 minute and 40 seconds worth of mashing, so... Excuse me. I'm drinking too much tea. Did I get him? No. I hit me. Oh wow, you're actually being aggressive, right, dude? What the hell?
I did like that start where you just kind of hit the ground and just stopped.
Yeah, if you aim for the steps, it does weird physics. So, the other thing as well is he still has all the illegal weapons and stuff. Okay, buddy, calm down. Marcia's not really doing her job as a partner here.
Gee, the AI being stupid, what a surprise.
Yeah. If you're gonna run this game, just learn to hate the AI for the most part. Like, that was incredibly slow, but at the same time, he's that stupidly random. But High Spirit, if you want to plug anything, I got a lot of mashing to do, and yeah.
It's gonna be a while. This cutscene is infamous. I remember there was like, I think it was a JonTron video from years back where he was mentioning games with overly long cutscenes, and he used a clip from this game, and I was like, it hurts just how much text and just
so
info dump there is.
I got
here.
about 1 minute
It's just
40,
info dump.
so feel free.
Well, we didn't get any more donations since then, but I guess I'll just plug real quick what's happening the rest of the day. Up next is East 1 Chronicles. Don't have any incentives for that, but you can enjoy that run. After that is Final Fantasy VII PC, and you can still name any of the characters. Some of them are definitely within range if you want to try to grab a name. Any of the 6 characters. After that is The Legend of Zelda race, in which we have file names you can choose. I think there's like 6 characters per slot for 3 slots for each runner, so you got lots of room for any file name if you want to take anyone. And the other incentives we still have today is Dragon Warrior Randomizer. Choose the sprites. Right now, the princess has a pretty good lead over everything else. Tomorrow, all we have is name and bit wars throughout the day. We've still got people who can vote for which Kingdom Hearts route they want to take, Aqua, Terra, Ventus. There's still file names for Link to the Past Randomizer. You can name Pooh in Earthbound. Magic of Scheherazade still has player names. And you can still pick the one forced character class in Final Fantasy Randomizer.
Oh yeah, hey, it's the background guy again. The background guy coined the trio of our Here's also shoutouts to Knock on the Lines. One of my favorite things I've ever heard about this game was so we're the trio of Leon Kennedy, Guile from Street Fighter, and Hatsune Miku.
Board a train.
Yeah. So to explain what all happened in that info dump, yada yada yada, Rahu destroyed the world. The main character's dad and Sergei they both left the police force, kind of went rogue, and started up the Z Syndicate, which were originally a bunch of good guys. And then main character's dad died, and there is a power struggle for the Z Syndicate, and so they became evil. And also, the main character's dad gave the main character a watch early on, which he said to never lose. And the reason why is because buried within this watch is a mind control device, or mind, like, it has the power to erase memories. Because, you know, that's a really good thing to, you know, trust in the hands of a 10-year-old kid.
Also, looking upon the worlds, they have a peer system, and they don't have anyone to trade with. They apparently don't have any hospitals or schools, as far as I can check. They only have residential housing. So I don't know how this world functions.
Yep. It's weird.
Okay, so back to the battles. Because that's how long that exposition dump took, plus, you know, getting over here.
And there's more information about Sergei and Marcia and yada yada yada. No one cares. Robo battles.
There you go, buddy. This time I'll get you. So you can use the iframes to dodge, stuff like that. The Metal Ox, his dash is stupid because his iframes come in very late. So you can... There you go. It's just... You can... If you're good enough at reaction time, if you see him dash, you can start mashing the X button in the GameCube control and do your little one, so you guys can avoid it. I failed on the second one, but I did on the first one at least. So now there's, what is it? 1, 2, 3.
Get Delphi in here.
Get Delphi. Why? That's so mean.
You might have had to take care of something.
There you go. Yeah, so like I hinted at earlier, it's like Roy is the worst partner for me. But for whatever reason, the worst fight consistently for Delphi is this fight with Mir as your partner. And it's like horrible, the amount of luck that Delphi has had, to the point where it's slowly becoming a little bit of a meme.
Yeah. Anytime anything goofy happens, it kind of sticks with us in this community. Alright, so yeah, he has died on this fight multiple times. Nobody else in the community seems to have trouble with this fight. It's to the point where we just kind of call this Delphi's favorite fight.
Yeah, actually, we mentioned it during RPG the Break too.
Oh
wow,
yeah, so
Mir just curb stomped that little robot.
Nice. I've never seen that happen. This game always has those little I never seen that happen moments. Okay, so
hardest skip in the game.
Now that we're about done with this fight, we're about to attempt the hardest skip in the game, bathroom skip.
I should miss it to spite you. So basically, we're always angry at Harry because he talks too much. But you say no 5 times to him here. He has to go deal with everything himself. He skipped 2 fights. There's a skip.
Yeah. Yep, so bathroom skip. You just tell Harry no 5 times, and you save about 2 minutes.
Yeah, because there's 1 double battle and 1 single battle in there in the smallest arena, and actually some of the most annoying robots to fight. And the fact we can't ignore them by being mean to Harry, all the better, because we don't like Harry. He's a womanizing jerk.
He's a wannabe womanizing jerk. He gets like 1 girl's number the entire game. The one time in post game was able to get a tournament of just girls, and he has to do he promises them a bunch of things to get them all in the tournament.
Yeah, I gotta start working on grand battle soon. But I want to try to get sub 2 first, which honestly is a meme, but it's actually not far off. My normal runs are about 201, 202, and that's just with really bad luck. The fact I'm still getting sub 205 with bad luck is amazing. And then, you know, marathon run, showing off bad ending, goofing around. Oh, I meant to show off the chocolate bar. I forgot about that.
Aww.
No chocolate bar.
Rip chocolate bar.
This is Sealhead again. Sealhead is just as much of a joke as before.
Steelhead's like my favorite model along with Pleasure Head. Yeah, so Walt's model, the bald guy, the big round guy with a really funny looking face. His name is Dowerhead in the North American version, but in the Japanese version, his name is Pleasure Head, or as I first heard it, Pleasure Face.
Yeah, it's just amazing because Walt of all people has it.
It's also amazing to me because the words dower and pleasure are practically antonyms.
Again, they had a lot of fun localizing it.
Yep.
There we go. So now there's 3 more battles before the end boss. You might as well start explaining the end boss now, because it's going to take a while to fully explain Rahu 3.
Yeah, so this is end game. It's actually at the back of a maze in an amusement park, which is quite a weird place to have end game. This first fight here can be annoying just because of the way the walls work, but it's probably one of the more fun fights. It's a little bit difficult due to her gun being Gatling. And
yeah, exactly. It's the last instance of the Gatling gun as well, so you don't have to worry about it. I'm going to get a good roll. She's going to get about 4 or 5, I think.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Yeah, so that's how you time it. If you start with a 4, you shoot up against the top wall, and you'll always keep your 1.
Alright, so to explain the end boss, the final boss of this game is Rahu 3. He is extremely bulky. The defense is so high that you can pretty much say that he has 5 times the defense of any other Robo. So to compensate for this, you do the fight as a 3v1, all 3 of your allies against Rahu. Unfortunately, if you die in any team-based fight, it doesn't matter if your allies live, you just game over.
Yeah.
So thanks to old school RPG mechanics. And his gun has a really wide area of effect.
Oh, so this is the maze route. It just avoids any damage, or avoids any extra fights. So.
Yeah, so there are hidden encounters buried in the floor, where you'll just do a Robo battle, and some of them give you some really useful parts, etc., etc. But if you take this specific weird roundabout way through the maze, you don't have to do any fights past the initial one, which really comes in handy because these fights, really add up to time. We used to think the fastest way to do it was 2 fights, but a runner by the I think he did run the game. A runner by the name of Razor found a way to not have to do any fights in there, so it's really nice.
Yeah.
So here's the final Dowerhead fight. Again, wouldn't be a Dowerhead fight without ice physics.
Mm-hmm. I also backed up in the air there so I can make my neutral jump aim towards him completely. So this, again, some of the small mechanics that you can't really explain unless you play the game yourself. You can notice the differences. So I'll drag him towards me using this gun. He'll jump away. Center bomb S, and then he fell into the bomb for the extra damage, and I knocked him out of the air with the 3-way gun, which wouldn't kill him. So that's what's going through my mind during these battles while I'm trying to meme and talk. So there's a lot of stuff we honestly can't explain. I'm trying to get it down in tutorial videos and stuff, but I forget about stuff. The twin fight, this is the last real run ender for me. I'm actually decent enough at Rahu 3 that I can be consistent, but this fight can go horribly wrong really quickly. Because fighting one twin is super easy. Fighting 2 of them and having 2 illegal weapons shoot you at once and just rip apart your HP, it's not fun. Oh, so there's a long cutscene again.
Shout out to Cthulhu.
Yep. He has the twins.
He is the only person I think. He is one of a couple people who have died on this fight. I've died on this fight before and lost a really good run. Like, that run ended up PBing, but it was not nearly as satisfying.
Yeah.
Yeah, so back on the end boss. So he has all this defense, a pretty wide range, and if he targets you, God help you, because his attack can do like 300 damage instantly. So just really annoying fight. You kind of build up to it the entire run. In a casual playthrough, you can be stuck on him for over an hour, just constantly, hoping that you can do it. And as we also alluded to, low percent parts makes it even harder. A big part of why we use Metal Ape is just that fight. Like, it helps throughout the entire run, so it does make sense to use it the entire run.
Plus the extra 10% attack does add up to save time.
But if we did low percent the entire run, it would still be much better to switch to take like the 5 to 8 seconds to switch to Metal Ape and fight the last boss with Metal Ape, because having that bulk is just so handy. And even then, it's not a guarantee. Every runner of this game has horror stories about being stuck on Rahu 3 in a run, especially as they're just learning the game.
Okay, ignore what I said. It's probably the easiest battle in the game, and I'm covering up Harry, which is even better. Censor the Harry. That was a great fight.
Shoutouts to Metal Ape, who was the original dabber. Actually, no, that was Umara from Final Fantasy VI.
I love that sprite.
Alright, so here's Rahu 3. He's been charging up. The other thing we haven't really mentioned is it is really hard to down him, and if you do, he has 1 frame between down and rebirth. So if you down him, you get no benefit.
Yep, and he gets iframes for no reason, so you want to avoid using your charge against him.
Yeah, charge is strictly defensive on this fight.
Actually, my low percent run that I have the world record with is like 3rd try Rahu 3, and it's sub the original world record from Crystal Chaos.
Yeah, his low percent time beats the like the old world record for any percent, which was kind of seen as like the hallmark run of the game for quite a while, until we really, you know, cracked this game open mechanically. Alright, where are we on time? At the start of the fight, it was flat 2, so no sub 2 today.
That's actually not bad, though, because that used to be 2 or 3 pace, I think.
Yeah, so trying to get the point-blank shots here is just really unreliable. He's very maneuverable, and if he switches to you and just shoots at you, you know, you're going to take a...
So fun fact, I'm not actually doing damage, basically. It's the partners which actually have the guns that do damage against him. So I'm trying to stun him in place long enough so their guns can actually hit. Because unless I'm close range, I'm not doing any damage basically at all.
Yeah, each bullet from the 3-way does literally, like, 2 damage to this guy. Like, 2 or 3.
I think it's 3. But this is how unfair the end boss is. So if you're going to do low percent, just do this with the basic gun that has a huge firing leg on it and all this other stuff. I see you targeting me. Get out of here. Yeah, drive.
So every one of his things is awful. His bomb splits into 4. His pods never go away until they hit you.
They have a 40-second life on them. So if he fires them off while targeting you, he can focus on someone else and they'll still target you down. Actually, the fact I'm even trying to talk during this is... Okay, I'm going to be cautious now. I have 150 HP. Charge, dash. You can keep talking. I don't mind. It's not going to make a difference.
Oh no, I'm watching. Yeah, at any point after that, you can just...
Oh, you... I mistimed it.
Oh my god, that's unfortunate.
I mistimed it. I should have hit it with the charge there.
Yep.
Okay, so we're talking about horror stories. I'm the world record holder. I've beat this game over 150 times. That's the 2nd time I've lost with that much HP on him.
Yeah. My last run of the game had this happen where it was literally, I was at 2 HP and all of my allies were at sub 200, and it was basically a shootout. Whose bullet hit first, and I barely won that trade. Like, that was my most recent completed run.
Wow, I am actually salty now. I haven't lost to him in a long time, let alone on stream. What's funny is I actually had a really great practice fight with him earlier. Please stop targeting me. But yeah, unfortunately, you're at the mercy of how good your AI is for your partners. So, I see you targeting me. Go away. There you go.
In my very first completed run of this game, I died to him like 3 times, and then I switched over to Gatling gun, which we still had in the route back then, and had the kind of luck on like my allies. I had the kind of luck that was good enough that it would have won the fight if I had done fight low %.
So, just to put it in perspective, I missed 1 bullet last match. Any 1 bullet could have saved me there, because that was 3 damage. So just to show nothing's free, I didn't think I'd die in the marathon. It's super annoying. Yes, I get it, you can fire it. Also, the range of his gun is also astonishingly cheap.
Yeah, it's pretty much 80% of the diameter of the arena.
There we go. Then time will be on fade out black, and I'll say when. So I'm salty still. Time.
Nice, up 205. With a death, you still got second place.
Yeah, if I delete my time on the leaderboard, I still technically got a first place run. Like I said, I'm the most consistent. I haven't died on him forever, so I'm sorry for that. But I'm also really happy to show how difficult he is.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, man.
Yeah. There were many times where you just used the charge in that fight, because while you're charging, you don't get hit by his bullets. It's straight up defensive.
But I missed 1 bullet the entire match. Because 1 bullet would have made all the difference. So I thought I timed it just right, so I would be able to dodge his gun, and then... What am I doing? New Game Plus is met, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll do it. Why am I mashing? Stop mashing. So take up that memory card, put that one in.
So Sergei rejoins the police squad. The government decides they're going to finally tell everyone they live in a small world, and try and get people to be better robot battlers, so if anything happens and Rahu comes back, they have at least the way to deal with it. And so that's pretty much the end of the story. We became a grand hero, and now there's grand battle. But after beating Rahu, you can initiate. You can always go back to grand battle, or sorry, new journey with any parts you have.
Yep.
So the parts we do in New Game Plus, we generally use, I want to say, Rahu Gun and Ray Legend. Ray Legend has a ton of bonus damage, but he gets every damage he takes is like double.
Yep.
So it's a high risk, high reward. But in tandem with this really, really, really busted gun called Crystal Strike, this fight is special.
Yeah. So basically, the Crystal Strike gun will leave the bullets in the air, and then it'll stall there for about 2 seconds, and then it will fire. That's nice when you can just stand there and lay in and set like 80 or 90 bullets up just to target him. And if he flies into that cloud, you saw how much defense he had before. He will unfortunately lose like 800 health or something if he flies into a full cloud. It's wonderful. I'm gonna have to be a little cautious here.
So this fight is just pure catharsis.
Yeah, this is gonna feel even better now since I lost.
Yeah, so he's just gonna stand there and mash B. This is the strat. This is the strat to beat this guy in New Game Plus.
Oh, he downed it, so the thing. When you get downed, you lose the bullets that are on screen, so you lose the cloud of them. I see you trying to target me, buddy. Stop it. There you go. Look behind the wall. But this is just so nice.
Also lags the game.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, so you just see him get caught in a corner there and just take hundreds of damage.
Yeah. So that's exactly what it looks like to beat him on New Game Plus.
Yeah. He's bulky and doesn't get hit very fast. If you use that on just any regular model, they will take so many hits that they will hit the ceiling of the arena, which you wouldn't otherwise know existed until you use Crystal Strike. It's kind of amazing.
So there you go. That is New Game Plus showcase of Rahu 3. And thank you, High Spirits, for letting me show off this funny little game.
Yeah. If you're at all interested in anything Robo related, just hit me up, hit Shauny up. We'll hook you up with a link to the Discord. There's all kinds of stuff on speedrun.com. So
yep.
Yeah, just great game, great community. Thanks for letting us show it off.